What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to make this little video and throw it out there before the juicy part of this video gets started. If you have not seen this movie yet, and I assume the majority of you haven't, this interview contains spoilers for the movie. Not necessarily affecting the outcome, but there are some things that are mentioned here that might be better if they're kept a secret until you watch it for yourself. So continue with caution. We do say beforehand that there will be spoilers following as we talk about them. So yeah, just throwing this out there and enjoy the video. Welcome to Beards and Blockbusters. My name is Tom, and I have the extreme pleasure today of interviewing two stars from the seems to be viral now SKINAMARINK. We have Mr. Ross Paul and his son Lucas. They play father and son in real life and in the film. How you guys doing?
Good. Doing awesome, thank you. How about you?
I'm doing fantastic. This is first time I've ever done anything like this, and I could not be more grateful for the opportunity. So thank you again.
Hey, you're very welcome, and glad we could do it. This is pretty awesome.
Absolutely. I won't waste any of your time. I'll get right into it. The first thing that really ran through my head after speaking with you initially, I did a little bit of digging on you and kind of looked at your posts and what you've been talking about since the movie's come out, and I've seen a couple of behind the scenes pics.
Okay.
They're always yeah, they're always vastly different from what we end up seeing on screen. So I just wanted to know first, how was it being on the set and kind of in a different headspace and environment as opposed to seeing the final product on screen?
Oh man, night and day.
It really seemed like it with the lighting too, especially.
Yeah, I mean, because you got to think at the time, even though I obviously had the script in my mind and what everybody was saying, I wasn't sure exactly what Kyle was going for at the time. Like, he gave me some ideas, but I wasn't really sure. So I knew that in my scene, so spoilers, just in case anybody hasn't seen it.
Yeah, I'll throw a warning up there before this.
Yeah, spoiler alert. So in my scene, I knew that I was possessed. So basically just, it's hard to explain, man, because I was at the premiere and I watched it. So I'll just tell you my experience from watching it. Kyle sent me a temporary link before it had all blown up. Mm-hmm. And I watched it in my home and I kind of got into it, but I was like, it was creepy and it bothered me a little bit. But for some reason, I couldn't really get into it. I guess probably because I wasn't sure what I was going to see and whatnot. And I was probably just thinking too much. But then for some reason, when I saw it at the theater on premiere night, it was a completely different experience. It just drew me right in. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I was there and I was living. It was like, again, it's hard to find the words to describe it, but it was so intense, and especially it was really messing with me because Lucas is my real son. Mm-hmm. And he was my son on camera. And so seeing, even though that was Kevin going through that, for some reason I felt a connection. Mm-hmm. And it was really, like, I almost walked out of the theater. Like, it was really messing with me, man. Like, I was really emotional and I was a bit of a mess afterwards. I'm not gonna lie. I feel a little embarrassed saying that, but I wasn't expecting that. It really, and I told Kyle that afterwards, and he's like, "I'm sorry, man." And I'm like, "Don't be sorry. Don't apologize for doing an awesome job."
I was gonna say, yeah, this is a testament to your work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so, and we even kind of touched on that too. And I'm sure myself, along with anybody else who I've talked to who has seen this, regardless of how they felt during the movie afterwards, it was an experience for everybody, whether it was intense or terror or panic or what have you. And I just kind of wanted to elaborate more on what your thought process was going into it, given you being a parent of two and especially having your real life son share that same relationship on screen. Were you at all apprehensive about doing this, or were you able to separate film from real life? How did that work for you?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think I did feel a little apprehensive in the beginning when I was, when I just before I did the audition. So I did contact my ex because I told her, like, according to the script, told her I got offered. Well, I still had to audition, but I knew they kind of wanted me, but I still had to do the audition to make sure I could do the part, obviously. So,
Right.
but I ran it by the ex, and I told her, I'm playing a single dad of two kids, and again, this is kind of a spoiler, and the mom isn't there, but she's, I guess, well, according to the script, I got to be careful what I say.
Yeah, definitely got to watch for the NDA.
Well, I did message Kyle briefly before this, and I asked him, is there anything you don't want me to say? And he said pretty much just keep it light. And so I'll say that the mom, it wasn't portraying her. I just had to make sure it wasn't about her. It was just, so at first I was a little apprehensive, but then once I started getting into the character, I was able to separate myself. Yeah, it's weird because during the process, I was able to separate myself going into it. And so except for the part where Kevin gets hurt, that was the only part that was kind of messing with me a little bit beforehand. And I wasn't sure exactly how he was going to film that, because you got to think at the time all I had was, I saw it on paper. I didn't know if he was actually going to show it, or
right.
You know what I mean? I wasn't sure what Kyle's end result was going to be, what kind of what the finished product was going to be at this time. So I was, yeah.
That's and it's interesting that you brought up the scene with Kevin. I thought at that point in the film I had a grasp on things and I really knew where things were heading, and then the second you hear the clicking of the blade, I got chills up and down my spine. And
just so you know, just a disclaimer, there was no blade on the set. There's a picture, there's a behind the scenes set on my Instagram of Lucas holding a X-Acto blade and the cameraman there, but there's no, just so everybody knows, there was no blade. Lucas wasn't holding a blade.
Yeah, just to put that at rest. Yeah. I was speaking with my family member who I saw it with, who we spoke briefly about last night. And one of the questions that he had asked me, which I in turn want to know now, is after that incident with Kevin, the cry that is let out is so real and I guess visceral in the context of things. Is that something that was added in post, or was that an actual cry from Lucas? Was he able to like bring that out of himself?
That was a little bit of both, I believe. I didn't actually ask Kyle that, so I'm not sure. I think it was a little bit of both, because we did try working with Lucas to get that, and it was done. He did it through audio, so I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
Sorry,
okay.
I don't know that I didn't ask Kyle like everything.
Oh no, it's completely okay. Some stuff, if it's left up, I mean, I'm just, like I said, this is an opportunity in itself. And speaking of Kyle, I've gone back and watched some interviews that he's done since it's come out, and he seems like a really genuine, wholesome person to get along with. And it's not surprising, but it is, considering the type of film he created and what I've heard that it's done to people. How did he reach out to you about the role, and then how was it working with him hand in hand on set?
Actually, it was through Jamie Hill, the one that plays the mom. So the backstory to that is my son Lucas and my older son Rylan actually did a commercial with Christy Marchuk. She's a director. She's studying to become a director, and she's working here in Alberta in film and television. She did a Save the Turtles commercial. We have the video somewhere online. And so Jamie was in that commercial as the mom, and my two boys were playing the kids.
Okay.
So that's how we met Jamie. and we befriended Jamie. And I just started talking to Jamie about how shared my story of my acting experiences. And then fast forward about probably a few months later, and she messaged me saying, "Hey, my friend Kyle's planning to shoot a movie, and I think you'd be perfect for the part." I told him, "You're a single dad, and you're already pretty much living it, so you're pretty much a shoo-in for the role." So right. I'm like, awesome. And so, yeah, I have to thank Jamie Hill for connecting me to Kyle. Cool. And that's, yeah, so it's because Jamie got me pretty much between her and Kyle pretty much got me the role. Like, I owe it to Jamie. I got to say, Jamie Hill.
Shout out to Jamie Hill. Thank you for being here in spirit.
Yeah. Thanks, Jamie.
And then the last question I have before we wrap things up is actually for Lucas. We spoke before we started the interview, and you told me that you really liked being in a film with your dad. And I just wanted to know if you had a favorite memory from making the movie with your dad, or anything that particularly stands out for you.
What did you like about being on set? Do you remember making the movie? Remember? I know you loved getting Happy Meals. Ooh. Kyle gave the kids Happy Meals. And that's right. I didn't answer. To answer the second part of the question, was working with Kyle was amazing. He was so accommodating and so friendly and caring, and like, obviously he had his vision and what he wanted in the scenes, but he also was open to what we had to offer. Okay. Like, for instance, he'd be like, "Okay, the scene is this way, do it this way." But then at the end, he'd be like, he'd let me do it my way. So, okay. You know what I mean? So he was open. He was very open-minded, and Kyle's just great, man. I love the guy. He's been awesome. That's awesome. Lucas, any other memories? What else do you remember about working on set?
Well, I do remember me making the posters at Shade Dale.
Oh, making the poster sitting in the hallway?
Yeah. But I wasn't also sitting there and read but they used the filter to make it up. They made it upside down. Then they wanted SKINAMARINK, and they tried to make the world.
Oh, I wasn't there for that. I was downstairs.
So Lucas, you weren't actually sitting on the ceiling? You were sitting on the floor and they just turned it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That could have fooled me, man. Could have fooled me. Well, I want to thank you guys again for taking the time. I didn't want to take up too much, but thank you both for finding the time to talk with me, and just really getting my feet wet with the whole interview process. Hopefully this isn't the last time I do this with somebody, but I really appreciate you giving me a chance and being my first. So thank you very much.
Hey, no problem, man. Thank you very much. It's been an honor. Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you heard, but I just made a TikTok video. I'll send it to you. SKINAMARINK, and you can add this in the video if you want. So SKINAMARINK, as of last night, just passed the $1 million mark at the box office. And because of that, it's now expanding to over 800 more theaters in North America.
No way. I think it was at what? Just over 600 initially for the release, right?
It was 600 and something originally, but now it's 800 more. So because they've been selling out. Almost every theater that I've been hearing about, it's been sold out. And that's why now they're adding more dates and more theaters. Like, this thing is just one big...
And the fact that it's such an experimental film too, I couldn't think of a better film for this to happen to. So all the congratulations in the world, man. Good for you guys.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
All right. Awesome. See you.
All right. Cheers.
All right. Bye-bye. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. It was a surreal experience. I kind of still have a natural high off of it. It was my first time doing anything like this, and hopefully it's not the last. But before we actually started the formal interview, there was a neat little moment shared between Ross, his son, and myself. And I attached that to the end of this video, so it'll play next. Enjoy it, and again, thank you so much for the view and checking out my channel. See y'all next time. Peace.
I have the SKINAMARINK poster upstairs. If I was wondering if we should show that. It's signed by all the cast and crew.
Oh, absolutely. That'd be awesome.
Let me go grab that so I have it. No, I will, because
they maybe make the poster.
Oh, look at that.
That's me.
Beautiful. Oh, and even the text is inverted too. I love that.
Yeah, hey, Lucas's signature. He printed his.
Beautiful. Looks so professional.
Yeah, there's Kyle. Kyle Epperball.
He's the one who made the force for the demon.